The property lane where it's everything real estate. Ladies and gentlemen, we bring you today the pathway to professionalizing the real estate sector. What does one need to do or need to have to be referred to as a professional real estate agent? Ladies and gentlemen, with me in the studio, I have the best of the best in the real estate sector. I have someone who has been in the real estate business for a very, very long time, and one who has been behind the professionalizing of the real estate industry in Uganda, the founder and the past president of the Association of Real Estate Agents of Uganda, Mr. Vincent Agaba.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you for hosting me, and I'm happy to be with you here because you know this journey very well.
Another professional, if I could use that word, professional real estate practitioner who has done all the trainings with the Real Estate Institute of East Africa and has been progressively growing, like one of the fastest growing real estate companies I have encountered. We have the CEO himself, Mr. Wilberforce Nsamba from Credo Management.
Thank you very much, Kathy. I'm glad to share my knowledge and experience with you and the viewers.
You're welcome. Straight to the point, Mr. Vincent Agaba, we want to professionalize the real estate sector. Area Uganda has been on that journey since 2008. How far?
Catherine, I must tell you that we have done our best,
okay,
including yourself and Wilbur and everyone else. In 2008, from up to now, we have 4 universities that are offering real estate management trainings.
Okay.
And that has been under the influence of the Association of Real Estate Agents of Uganda. Secondly, we have started the Real Estate Institute of East Africa in order to train real estate practitioners in Uganda, but at the same time at the regional level.
Okay.
Because we are benchmarking this to the harmonization of professions within the East African community. And remember, the Real Estate Institute of East Africa now is a member of the East African Business Council. And for that matter, we want any agent who practices in any of these East African countries to be able to be allowed to practice. But let me tell you, why do we talk about professionalism in the real estate sector? I would like to emphasize actually the agent. The real estate agent is actually the game changer, is the game maker. Is the one who plays between the demand and the supply. We have 2 levels. We have the supply side, those are called real estate developers. And of course, we have the demand side, which is the population of Uganda, for example. But the catalyst in the process is called a real estate agent. This is the gentleman who you call my agent. Okay. I would like to compare that with my border guy. Okay. This is the guy who, when you have hard money, you call and ask, but what can I buy? How much are the plots of land in this location? And this guy will off-head tell you that land in Ichigo costs this amount of money. Now, he's the catalyst. And why, when talking about professionalism, we need to start with this lady or gentleman. Because if he or she is not educated, if he or she is not actually living according to a certain code of ethics, if he or she is not known where they operate from, this is the person who goes into your bedroom when you want to rent your house. Oh, yeah. Telling him, look, my size of the bedroom is like this, please find me a tenant. Now, the risk with that is that you never know who you're bringing into your home and where they are coming from. Yes. So we need to educate them, we need to regulate them, and we need them to have addresses. And by doing that, what we are doing in the long run is making sure that whatever they are doing, they are also careful and also putting the consumer into perspective. Remember this, Kathy. We work all our entire life, and the biggest investment we make in our life is owning a home. So you don't want anyone within that space to mess up with that dream. Yeah. So the real estate agent must be regulated, must be trained in order to make sure that they safeguard the people's dream, which is actually owning a home. So the professionalism, when we are talking about, we must start from a real estate agent. We know there are many other professionals in the built environment, the architects, the engineers, the surveyors, the interior designers, yes, but it all starts with this gentleman or gentle lady and ends into the other professions. That's what I could say in brief, as probably Mr. Wilberforce.
Oh, before you jump to Wilberforce, are you implying that the professional real estate agent is the one that has gone to MOBS or the Real Estate Institute of East Africa.
No, no, no. What we are meaning with this actually professional real estate agents, we have other streamlined now with actually the bilateral agreement with the NAR. We have what we call, for example, CIPS, the Certified International Property Specialist. This guy goes and studies that specific training and is actually a certified international property specialist. The basics are the same. They learn about how to conduct real estate, the code of ethics, and all this stuff. But we emphasize, if you want to have a certificate that is employable, go to the Real Estate Institute of East Africa, go to Makerere University Business School, go to Uganda Matters University, and take these courses from certificate level to diploma, to degree, masters, and PhD. You can even go abroad. Go to University of Readings in the UK, go to all these other universities in the US and South Africa, attain your master's degree, PhD, and come and practice.
Vincent, you're complicating this whole process. So you're saying now for someone who has a degree in social sciences, like myself, that we will have to go back and study in a university, or are you saying that those are all different options for one to become a professional agent? Before you answer that, yes, Wilberforce, yes. Is that what you did? As a new entrant in the real estate playground?
No. I believe what Vincent means is that there are different journeys. Mm-hmm. There are different players in the real estate market. Mm. I think many people have told me, I want to start in real estate. Where do I start? Mm-hmm. It's a question I usually see people ask. And there are different levels, you know. My background is not real estate, okay, per se. And real estate has been practiced even before these courses came to the universities that we know. Mm. Real estate is practiced globally, and it's practiced by so many different people in so many different ways. Mm. Especially the element of agency, okay, or broker. Anyone these days is a broker, you know. Yeah. The drive we are trying to make is not to say that whoever did go to a certain university is not a broker. Mm-hmm. All we are saying is that the broker that was practicing before should now be enlightened with hands-on skills as they do their work. The Real Estate Institute of East Africa has designed courses that are practical and you do them as you go. And actually, I think the Real Estate Institute of East Africa has courses targeted for people who have already been practicing real estate, whether they did it in school or not in school, but it's been their practice. Mm. It is to add value to you as you do the real estate work. For example, I did about 3 or 4 courses at the Real Estate Institute of East Africa. I started with the foundation level, which teaches you the basics of real estate practice. And okay, it touches the legal, the financial, the management, the operations of real estate. I did the advanced course, which now tries to specify. But lastly, I specialized in property management. And I'm now a specialist in property management. Oh. What that shows you is that there are courses now in whatever field that you choose in real estate that you can add to your knowledge. Continuous education. We've seen it happen in other professions, that the medicine and dentistry and engineering and architecture, they usually have continuous professional development. This is what we are saying, that as a practicing agent, whatever you've been knowing, now let us equip it, let us remove the dust on it, and you become an international and a well-trained agent in whatever you do. I think I've seen that at the Real Estate Institute of East Africa.
Thank you.
But above that, from the local training now, we went to the global. Mm-hmm. After that, I did the Certified International Property Specialist course. I'm glad to say that I'm now a Certified International Property Specialist.
Designee.
And I'm a designee, yes. There are only about 11,000 designees in the world, and I'm happy to be among them. In Uganda, I think we have 7 who have completed, and we have a course coming up in July. What does that show you? That from practicing at a local level, if you're an agent or broker who has a global vision, you now have a chance to go and do the Certified International Property Specialist in Uganda, register as a member of Area Uganda, and then be able to practice all over the world. I think that's where we should be going. We should be able to close businesses in the US and Asia and
Europe
and wherever. Yes, we should be able to.
Thank you, Vincent. Wilberforce, I know Vincent is itching to add to that. And as you add to that, just to, you know, when you talk about brokerage, it sends panic waves because today everyone is acting as a broker. Yeah. As we bring all these courses and we do all the membership details, like you have to be a member of Area Uganda or NER, will it kick off the masqueraders?
No, what I would like to say is that why we should all appreciate that not everyone should be an agent is because of the implications that come with the work of the agent. And I can assure you the work of the agent is that we determine the prices.
Okay.
And when you determine the prices, remember these prices of real estate are used by the financial institutions in terms of lending credit to the public.
And valuation.
And valuation reports in order to be a basis for lending and also governmental decisions. So what you are doing is that if you don't make sure that this agent is trained, you're creating a system whereby garbage in, garbage out. And therefore, you can easily collapse the financial sector. And if you collapse the financial sector, the insurance sector will follow with it. Okay. And if you do that, what you are likely to cause is what we call a financial crisis. So it is high time that all the actors in the economy must understand that the one who determines the prices determines the market. And we are saying the real estate agent is the key player in the real estate industry, because they will tell you that the plot of land in Zambia, where we are sitting, is 500 million, and the public will follow. And they will create a market for that. And the neighbor will say also, if I sold that 500 million, mine is 600 million. And speculation will kick in. And therefore, we need to agree that the people who want to play in that sector must be trained, must be careful, must be having a code of ethics, must understand the implications of what they are doing in terms of consumer protection and also influencing government decision on inflation, on interest rates for mortgages and so forth, and even money laundering into the economy. And all these things affect our daily life. So the moment we don't close that gap, you tell me today, can you just go and masquerade and be a lawyer?
No.
You must
Not
go
even
through a
an
process.
engineer, though many are masquerade.
Can you go and become an architect when you study the social sciences? No. You must go through a process. Why should the agent be allowed as a game for anyone who comes from nowhere? That's what we are saying. And by the way, the rules of the game must be there, and those who do not comply with the rules of the game must find something else to do.
Thank you so much, Vincent. Dear viewers, we're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back discussing how do we curb speculation? How do we handle this situation where there are people who didn't study real estate but want to practice? We will be right back. Welcome back from that very brief break. We continue the conversation on professionalizing the real estate sector. And as you have heard, ladies and gentlemen, it all starts and falls on the real estate agent. And so, from the conversation, we are hearing that we need to polish and train the real estate agents so that they do not play with your lifetime savings. Vincent, we were talking about professionalizing the real estate agent, and Wilberforce mentioned the certified international property specialist. I'm asking, now that Uganda signed that bilateral agreement with NAR, does it mean anybody who wants to do that course in Uganda can do it? Because we are getting calls from our neighbors in Kenya and Rwanda who want to do the course. Take us through the process.
Yes, thank you. According to the criteria is that the association in that country must first and foremost become a bilateral member with the NAR.
In other words, the Kenya Real Estate Association, whatever it's called, cannot do a SIPS training right now?
First is the bilateral agreement, and then CIPS rolls over. Okay. So I think that must be clear. I think maybe, Wilbur, you can add from here.
Yes. Yeah. CIPS is a course designated for National Association of Realtors of USA. So any country that is not in a bilateral agreement with NAR cannot offer CIPS.
Vincent, is that why we had to travel to Lagos to do the CIPS? Because AEAN is already a member of the National Association of Realtors?
Yeah, exactly, because we have been chasing the bilateral agreement for NAR since 2009 or 10. And for purposes of bureaucracy here and there, we had to do certain things, the law before the laws, and all that sort of delayed. So the opportunity came, we were supposed to travel actually to the US, and the visas delayed. And there was this celebration of the Nigeria Real Estate Agents Association, which actually the NAR said we can send the bilateral agreement there. And to do that, they had to combine it with CIPS training so that the first group from Uganda is getting enrolled into the CIPS in anticipation of the bilateral agreement. I can assure you, if there was no bilateral agreement, we would have not attended CIPS.
In other words, CIPS is part of the National Association of Realtors requisite to be a member. Okay.
Because what they're trying to do is the NAR Global, which is the globalization arm of the National Association of Realtors of the United States, is to ensure that we have a cadre of global real estate agents who understand the markets. You can see the content of CIPS. It takes you about Asia markets, Middle East markets, Europe markets, American markets. You tend to understand the expectations of the people in those jurisdictions. So that when you're going to trade and transact real estate there, you know the do's and the don'ts. Some people, when you bend, it means something else. When you smile, it may mean actually you're angry.
When you give a gift,
when you give a gift,
might give the wrong gift.
You may give the wrong gift. So we study all these things in CIPS in order to prepare us. Because what we are doing as practitioners in real estate is actually livelihood of people. We are dealing with their homes. We are dealing with their dream. So therefore, you need to understand the emotions of the people. You need to understand actually, people, some of them don't sell houses because they are happy. They are divorcing. They have lost their loved ones and so forth. So you actually putting yourself in the culture of the client is very important, and it can only be achieved by learning through CIPS.
Does that make you a global realtor now, like a participant, no, a global businessman in the real estate?
Yes, definitely. The Certified International Property Specialist course is designed to give you a global view of real estate, of practice in real estate. We learn about each continent and what are the uniquenesses of each continent. But to drive it home, you find that in the last 10 years or so, or even 20, we already had different people coming to invest in real estate in Uganda. Now, the CIPS course teaches us to be able to serve each unique clientele with their specific need. So, for example, we learned about how to serve Asians and what their interests are in real estate. How to serve from America, how to serve people from Europe, how to serve people in Australia, and all the other parts of the world. So the CIPS course is generally to elevate your level of practice, to be able to serve on the global market, to be able to know how to handle global clients. And hey, it's already a global world that we are dealing in. We have investors from all walks of life here in Uganda already, meaning as agents, we need to be equipped on the skills to be able to serve them, all right? Because they come with expectations, they come with needs, they come with a unique understanding of real estate in their mother countries. So CIPS course helped us to be able to transfer the same skill, the same expertise they get in their countries, now here in Uganda. That's what.
Thank you so much.
It's very important for agents to take it up and get it to practice globally.
Thank you so much, Wilberforce. And now, Vincent, you mentioned something about speculation and price distortion coming from unskilled or unscrupulous real estate agents. I'm asking now, how do we solve that? Well, apart from training?
The answer is legislation and training. Remember, when we are doing legislation, we are telling the public, hey, there are rules of the games here. And I think that's what the government has been trying to do in all the laws, and actually at the climax of the real estate bill at the Ministry of Land, Housing and Development. Number two is training. When you are training, you are actually doing is mindset change. You actually even inform. We encourage even the public, even if you are not a practicing real estate agent.
I've heard of the MLS.
Yes.
And that it can sort out speculation.
I'm coming to that also. The other one is making sure that we have data.
Okay.
Because the missing link here is data. And data can only be actually addressed through the multiple listing service, which you have mentioned.
Well, what is that?
So the multiple listing service, what it does, it is actually a digital platform. In the real estate, we call them PropTechs, property technology platforms, that help the agents to transact together while capturing data that helps us to make trends and market information in order to make sure that there is reliability of what we are doing. But how the MLS is done is in a way that you cannot post, for example, property with two prices.
Or from two agents.
Or from two agents. Okay. Now, when that is done, it means you remove these overlaps. This is a big subject, it's technology, but at the end of the day, when you stop that, Because you have seen some buildings here in Kampala. Someone says this building is 400 million. Another agent tells you it is 500 million. Another one is listing it at 600 million. Now, that market distortion creates what we call speculation. Okay. So anyone who has the money or the buyer can be a victim of any of the other. But on the multiple listing platform, you cannot do that. And therefore, and even we're required as agents, once you have sold, you input the data of how much you have sold, the actual price. And that can be helpful for actually financial institutions, can be helpful for actually the Bureau of Statistics, can be even helpful for valuation companies in order to pick this data over a period of time and actually see through how real estate market has been performing over a period of time. At the moment, I can tell you, if I asked you, how has the market been performing for the last 10 years? Yes, you may have the answer, but if I ask you for evidence,
of course,
you will not tell me.
And back to Wilbur, do we have an MLS or multiple listing service database, the one he has mentioned? Do we have it in Uganda?
Thank you very much, Kathy. Credo Management is in the PropTech space. We've developed several real estate management systems, but I must say Uganda does not have an MLS. When we're in Lagos, we're able to benchmark the various MLSs in the USA and other countries. And I must tell you what we have are portals where we post information. But I think when you're discussing the whole legislation and professionalizing of the sector, it is more to safeguard the public, the consumers of real estate. And I encourage the public, who are the consumers of real estate, to take keen interest in whom they deal with when it comes to agency, to property management, and all the other services of real estate. Because we are making all these efforts to protect the consumer, to provide information to the consumer, to inform the buyer to make an informed decision that is based on data and accuracy. If you go now to the different portals that you have, that are real estate portals, you find the same properties posted by different brokers at different prices, even different pictures and different locations. To the extent that you can look at a house and like it and want to pay it, and you go there and they tell you it has never been on market for sale. Or the broker took the picture from the side mirror of a car. He doesn't even know. Or he saw it on another WhatsApp group and just forwarded it without ever getting the details. Now, when we bring the MLS here, the multiple listing system, its role is to make sure that we have accurate real estate data shared in real time by real practitioners of real estate. The MLS has different players on it. The buyers are on there, the sellers are on there, the government is on there, the banking institutions are all there. Meaning it's one platform where you can find accurate real data that helps you to make accurate real-time informed decisions. And that will help to streamline. I am happy to hear that Area Uganda is already trying to make efforts to make sure that Uganda gets an MLS. I know it's a very expensive investment, but it's worth it. And I call upon the government, the banking institutions, to work with Area Uganda. To
URA should be our first partner.
URA will be a very, very big beneficiary from having streamlined, accurate real estate information. And I think the MLS is the way to go.
My issue with the whole portals and what we may call database that exist is, like, personally, if I post a property today, Credo will have access to it, adverts, and before I know it, the sale is made without me. Will the MLS solve that?
It will, because if you do that as an agent who is a part of the MLS, there are penalties and there are actually some cautions. Because either you can be thrown out with the MLS because you're creating the distortion that actually we wanted to solve. The point here, we should not cheat each other. Okay. We should share commission. We should grow together. We should develop each other. There is a lot of business that we can do by just being fair to each other. So these businesses of actually getting a flyer and someone crops it and removes your logo and puts theirs and so forth, you know, it just does not make up. It is short term. It is not long term oriented. It is not helpful to anyone. It only creates a chaos. And I don't think that anyone in Uganda is interested in that chaos.
Thank you so much, Vincent and Wilberforce. And thank you, my dear viewers. You have been a very good audience. We will be back with more on real estate. And today, I hope that whoever is practicing real estate out there will be able to come and register with the Association of Real Estate Agents of Uganda and take up training courses so you're not caught off guard. See you next.